sing the thunder song. When you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your thunder buddy and say these magic words.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Thunder Buddies podcast. I am subbing for Eric Horn as the intro person today, right?
I've given up all those duties to you. I pass them on, man. You're better. You're better at that stuff.
I don't know. You did it fantastically last week.
I did.
And in post-mortem of Russell Westbrook throwing a 25 points, 20 assist game on Chris Paul, we brought in the we may have bought him to come in here. I cannot believe he actually showed up. I'm surprised Darnell Mabry showed up to work today after what happened last night.
What happened?
Man, you ain't got no rings.
What happened?
The Hoopers.
Thunder blowout.
Russell put it on the Hoopers last night.
Yes, he did. Thunder put it on the Clippers.
We've been robbed.
Is the reason you enjoy Chris Paul's game so much is because when you go to the gym, you in your mind think you are Chris Paul? You do kind of shoot the mid-range and you try to run the game.
Yeah. I just like guys that are in control. I mean, it's as simple as that. If it was
What if you just
DJ Augustine? I mean,
Guess
I
who
like
was
DJ
in
Augustine.
control last night, though? Russell Westbrook.
He was. He looked good last night.
most of the time?
Yeah.
He looks a lot better.
It's funny because it's coming off. I think he realized how bad he was late in the Clippers game last Wednesday, where he went 0-6. He took that just ridiculous 3 late in the game, and then the game against the Warriors at Golden State was his worst game of the year. I'd say worst game I can remember in a while.
Yeah, what was he like? 4 of 20 or something?
8
like
of
that?
24, but remember 2 of those were right at the end, so he was 6
Yeah.
of 22 while the game still mattered.
Yeah.
Since then, hasn't he had maybe? I know for one game for sure where he didn't shoot in the first quarter.
Yeah, the 2 games since were Milwaukee and last night. And he had 5 assists without a shot in Milwaukee, and then he had 8 assists, 3 shots last night in the first quarter. I think I don't know if it was film. You know, we've always been talking about who's holding him accountable, who's yelling at him in the film room, whatever. I don't know if somebody did, bring it up to him in the film room, or he just, he's a smart guy, just figures it out himself. He kind of reined himself back in, and that's why they played better the last couple games. It's really on the stars. Although, I mean, Durant's still playing great, but he's having some of those
Turnover issues.
Yeah, and that leads to the whole body language thing, and saw it in the second quarter.
Yeah.
He just looked like he was completely out of the game in that second quarter yesterday.
Darnell, you've covered him, or you did cover him for, growing up through his early career. Have you ever seen him like this turnover-wise?
Yeah, I don't know the numbers, but, I mean, he's always had a stretch in the season where he's just turning it over uncontrollably. So this is nothing new. I think a lot of people are down on him as a ball handler. I don't mind it. I think he creates a lot of attention. He commands a lot of attention, and he creates plays. He makes plays happen because of the attention he draws. So I told you guys last night in the email while y'all were covering the game, I think the benefits of his good outweigh the drawbacks of his bad. And to me, it's worth having the ball in his hands because of that. So to me, though, this is nothing new. I mean, he has these stretches where he just turns it over for whatever reason. He's never been really strong with the ball. He's always had sort of weak hands and gets stripped easily, turns it over, trying to dribble, trying to make passes. But this is a really alarming stretch because of how good he's gotten, how great he's become.
Well,
that's what makes it so alarming.
That's what's weird about it. And, I mean, I do agree with you if you just look at his numbers the last 7 games. Look, they went to the staggered rotation where they started making him more of a point guard, more of a complete player, whatever you want to say, in the Dallas game. But starting the next night in the New Orleans game, these are his points, rebounds, assists. 32-14-7, 37-12-5, 27-10-6, 30-11-5, 32-10-9, 32-13-8, 30-12-7. Assists way up, rebounds are high. I mean, he's putting up the numbers he put up from that MVP season, but the turnovers, 6, 9, 5, 6. I kind of agree with you that, they should have the ball more in this guy's hands because he's Kevin Durant. But
he's got to fix it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's up to him to fix the problem.
It's kind of like Russ fixed the shot selection problem. What do you think it is? I mean, he's playing in traffic a lot. Some of them are, I think maybe on the spacing in the court, but a lot of them are on him. I mean, he's just like stepped out of bounds a couple times.
Yeah.
Scott Brooks used to say something about their turnovers when their heart was in the right place, and that might not have been how he phrased it, but when they were trying to make the right play, he didn't mind those turnovers. And what I see out of Kevin is a lot of times he's trying to make the right play. It might be more of a hero play, and not in a bad way hero play, but just like a spectacular play that he's trying to make. And I think that is when he really gets in trouble, outside of just doing silly things like stepping out of bounds. I think sometimes when he's trying to make those spectacular passes, he gets himself in trouble. And so that happens a lot, but he's got to cut that down. If he can just get that under control, I think his playmaking will be phenomenal for this team.
I feel like it might be like a matter of opinion, but sometimes I was thinking about when he tries to throw that bounce pass in traffic, like sometimes I don't even mind that so much as some of the over dribbling at times, because I think he'll fumble over his feet or he'll trip up trying to cross a guy over when he doesn't really need to take that many dribbles to get his shot off. I think that's kind of unnecessary at times.
They're both making weird passes, though. Look, I understand, they're stars. They sometimes they work, but when Russell Westbrook's catching on the fast break and trying to like whip up behind the back.
Hey, heck of a steal by Chris Paul, by the way.
Oh Jesus! And then Durant or Russell, they try these like off the dribble seeds through three defenders that Steven Adams is on the end of them.
Yeah.
Where a lot of times they just get tipped beforehand and then they bang around and then suddenly Jamal Crawford's on a 3-on-1 break the other way. But even sometimes when they get through, it's like Adams isn't catching that.
Yeah. It's like sometimes they're like that quarterback that's like he's supposed to throw like a short 5-yard pass, but he throws it way too hard. Like sometimes Russell Westbrook throws the ball so damn hard at Steven Adams. I'm like, dude, why are you throwing the ball so hard at
I know.
that man?
It's like if Darnell went out there, the Chris Paul of OKC, Darnell Mayberry, if he went out there with 7-year-olds or something and he just started trying to throw off the bounce, seed bounce passes at kids or something.
I better not say anything about Westbrook's passing.
No, you can say all you
I
want.
better not say anything about Westbrook's passing.
Why?
And this is another thing.
This is what we brought. Hold on. This is what we brought you on for.
He's trying to get me fired up, Eric. He's trying to get me fired up.
What'd you think of him in the Warriors game?
Get it off your chest.
I mean, overall.
The 8 of 20, what was he?
8 of 24.
Yeah.
6 of 22.
I thought he was going to bounce back in that game. I was on Twitter. I really enjoyed that game as a fan.
How do you consume games now? Because you're exclamation pointing everything. If you have a question, it's 7 question marks. I mean, are you tipping a few back at the crib?
Sometimes. It just depends on the night. I get up for big games. I don't care about the Thunder against the Bucks or the Magic or the Timberwolves. Friday's game, I probably won't even watch. But Saturday's game, I will. So that's kind of how I operate now. I want to see the Thunder against the best of the best because that's where the measuring stick is. That's where the bar is for this team. It doesn't matter what they do against 2/3 of the league. Maybe even more.
Take me through your current Twitter mindset because you're no longer you need to report on stuff, this or that. It's just you see John Wall make a nice pass in a Wizards.
I did that when I covered the team.
You did a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's just take me through the 9 exclamation point tweets. Are those
pull up my Twitter?
Are those your more rowdy
I feel
nights?
like you're over exaggerating.
Eric,
this
am I over exaggerating this?
No,
I just
pull up my Twitter.
Well, the funny thing is, you won't tweet for 2 days, and then suddenly it's a binge of super.
Because the Thunder's playing the Warriors.
it's kind of like
And
what we got? Oh, that was previewing a story. That was previewing Eric's story.
You do a good job of promoting our stuff more than anything now.
Yeah, promoting, not previewing.
Well, yeah.
And then every now and then
ready?
You'll pop off.
Here's March 6th. Nazi Muhammad with 4 exclamation points.
Oh, because they got off to that great start in Milwaukee. I'm like, what happened to this team?
Yeah,
it's the Nazi Muhammad effect.
And then 4 minutes later, Greek free.
Oh, because he jammed on Surge.
I know. I'm just saying, it's just funny. I just feel like Sunday
anytime
afternoon,
a big play happens, you're getting exclamation points.
Are you having Sunday fun day? Is that what's going on here?
Sometimes.
Jeez.
That was actually a Sunday fun day. The
Sunday
Milwaukee
fun
game,
day.
that was a Sunday fun day.
Speaking of big dunks, just off the top, did y'all see that Josh Richardson dunk last night?
No. Maybe this guy did.
No,
but I saw a quote from
who'd he dunk on?
Greg Monroe.
Ooh.
I heard Monroe. Yeah, I did hear somebody say Monroe got hammered on again.
He did.
Anyway, yeah, I was just wondering what your consumption was like. What were we talking about before that?
Kevin Durant.
Okay,
Russell Westbrook.
And one.
You know what? I mean, I'm starting to just get a sense of more and more. You know, we talk about this team's defensive problems that come up a lot. To me, it seems like turnovers really start their defensive problems. Like they were playing all right defense a lot last night, and then it was like a string of like 3, 4, 5 straight turnovers. You know, they're slapping their sides, and then, you know, they're not getting back. I think Jeff Van Gundy, I just saw on Twitter, I guess he was like roasting them for trot backs.
Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson were killing them last night.
Oh, it's not the first time.
Yeah, I mean, they're
especially like second quarter, third quarter.
Yeah. I mean, they've been killing them
all year,
most of the season. They've picked up on how the Stars have not accepted the challenge of playing defense consistently. I think they've both gotten better, especially Durant. But consistency is the key. And Jeff Van Gundy and those guys have noticed. And they call them out every broadcast now.
Yeah. No, what I've noted, they've had a lot of them. They've called like 4 or 5 games, which is kind of rare.
Hey,
what?
Did Jeff Van Gundy say anything to you yesterday? Have you? He's probably called.
Well, I mean, I've talked to him for a couple of stories on the phone. I didn't.
I just wondered if he said anything to you about our Billy Donovan series.
No, yeah. I mean, I talked to him for that series. You did too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And because he knew him, he was a grad assistant.
Yeah. At Providence. Anyway,
yeah.
What I noticed yesterday was, and I was just like trying to get to that point, but like when they turn it over, they just stop playing defense because they get mad. I mean, maybe it's a selfish mentality, but they're frustrated at themselves, then at each other, and then like the energy's gone, and they're not like locked into defense. So in a weird way, I'm starting to feel like the root of this team's issues comes when they turn it over. Everything just implodes.
That's a problem because they're a high turnover team.
They had the worst turnover differential in the league because they're not forcing a lot either, which is weird.
What do you mean they're not forcing a lot? They're not forcing a lot of turnovers.
They don't turn the ball over more than anyone in the league, but they have the worst differential as far as how many they turn over compared to how many they get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else stand out from last night?
Steven Adams looks good.
Steven Adams is good.
Yeah, I don't have to sell you on Steven Adams. I just like the fact that he's really developing that little jump hook, little fake, dream shake.
It still looks weird.
It looks weird, but it's effective.
It's like pogo stick straight up, and like
it's effective and it goes in. So I like that. I mean, that's developed into a really nice 2-man game, a weapon for this team.
I liked how he was a little shy about talking about the offensive rebounds last night when you asked him about it.
Yeah,
and he did a great job. He does a good job of creating those second chances.
Yeah, I said, hey, you guys only have 2 offensive rebounds. He said, 2? Really? I was like, yeah. He's like, yes. That means I won't be in film tomorrow. But he's great. I got a new strategy. It started on the West Coast trip, but like, I'm just gonna talk. You just talk to Steven Adams every post game. He doesn't even really want to, but then he just delivers great stuff, especially on video. People love the accent. Mustache, you know what he does now? Hair. You know what his thing is?
What?
If you walk by, he says, everyone, salutations. Salutations. Everyone walks by, salutations. He's
Steven
great.
Adams is a great guy. Nazir Muhammad walked by our building yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yep. He was. So this is the most popular subway in town. If you want to see an NBA player, come to this subway.
He must be living at what, like
I don't think you should probably say wherever he's living. I don't know where he's living, but you probably should say.
I don't know. So
well, it's right around the corner from that subway's right around the corner from the hotel, the Skirvin too, and the Colcord. So
yeah,
I don't think anyone was staying at the Skirvin.
Clippers didn't.
Yeah, I don't think they did. Where'd they stay? Colcord? Sheridan?
Yeah.
Interesting. How about Enes Kanter from mid range? I put the stat out this year. He's shooting like 55% from mid range. Like a Steven Adams hook shot. It doesn't look that good, but it often goes in.
Yeah.
Which is right now, big fourth quarter shot in the playoffs. Russell Westbrook driving right. He's kicking back to a 16-footer right now. Who would you rather have taken it, Serge Ibaka or Enes Kanter?
Serge Ibaka.
Yeah. Now,
still Serge.
I'll go with the track record, Serge Ibaka.
Well, you guys talk a little bit because I want to look up who's shooting better from 10 to 16 feet.
Serge hasn't been shooting it as well as he had in the past.
No. We tell you what. Tell Serge to take 3 steps back and hit a 3.
He did on that inbounds play last night.
Yes, he did. They were killing him on that inbounds play.
They were. The Clippers' inbounds defense was horrible.
That was terrible.
Somebody tweeted something at me. one of you two might have been attached to it too, so I don't know who you saw it, but I thought it was a good point. He's like, for all the criticisms that Billy Donovan's getting this year, right or not, they have been way better on inbounds plays. It just seems like they have more creative sideline out of bounds, under the hoop out of bounds. Even that play, I know he got that. Remember the timeout?
35 reverse. How about 35 reverse?
Yeah, 35
it wasn't
reverse.
an inbounds play, but I think his play calling has been a lot better.
Yeah.
In general.
Offense, not the question.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is at times late in games.
Yeah.
And the turnovers. Serge Ibaka is 45 of 95 this season from 10 to 16 feet, 47%. Canner's, I think he's something like 40 of 70 something, so he's over 50. He's a good shooter.
I wonder why Serge is. That's a good question. Why is Serge? What is the cause of his slippage this season? Not in general, but from mid range, what he does best, probably outside of shot blocking. What's the reason for it?
I mean, I don't know that 47% is like bad
compared to last year.
Well, I don't know. Was he that good last year?
Past years.
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe
probably
in like
2 years.
Past
ago.
years.
2 years ago.
Like,
Does that mess up his calibration?
Well,
that
he was
he's gotta take
he
it
was
out to
50.
three?
So he's down this year. He's 50% last year. Let's see what he was in 13-14 from 10 to 16. 49. I mean, he's down a little bit. He doesn't shoot him as much, and like honestly, I mean, we're at practice every day. He's not practicing as much because he's practicing threes.
He's practicing threes.
Which he's not really hitting threes that well lately. His shot's off. He's a little off. Oh, this is so. In what year would this be? 2012-13. He was 71 of 130 from 10 to 16 feet, which is really good. 55% on a high volume. Didn't really take threes that year. I don't know. Maybe when your athleticism's a little down, your energy's a little bit down, your legs are a little bit more shot, knees just not there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a good mid-range shooter, but he's not as automatic. You mentioned we talked about Canner, we talked about Adams. The rebounding dominance of this team is like, I still think it's very undersold. They have a lot of issues. Their fringe players aren't good passers. We've exhausted all the problems they have, but like, do we not talk enough about like how they just mash people on the glass? I think it was 59-20 something last night.
It's a big factor.
For as
It
good of a
helps.
rebounder as DeAndre Jordan is, the Clippers aren't really a great rebounding team.
Well, right now without Blake, they got to play small, and that hurts them.
Yeah. When the Warriors came in here, they out-rebounded the Warriors 62-32. Their differential right now is plus 7.8. They average 48.1 rebounds, and they only give up 40.3. That points plus 7.8 is the best since at least 99. I can't go back any further on ESPN's tracker thing. But like this, you could argue this is the best rebounding team ever, and like it's not even talked
Ever?
about. At least in the last 15 years is what I can see.
I wonder how much. I haven't studied this at all. I didn't know you were going to talk about it, so I'm just throwing something out there. I wonder how much of it has to do with factors like pace, like shot attempts, their turnovers,
Well,
giving the other team more shot attempts. So even though they
Yeah.
might not score off of those turnovers, they might get more shot attempts. The other team might get more shot attempts, and that creates more rebounding opportunities. So I wonder how much of it has to do with things like that, all those other factors.
it's true. I think differential is. You're right. I mean, those are obviously factors, but I think differential shows a lot because, I mean, in general, like everyone has a chance at a
Right,
rebound.
right.
Your offense, and that's the thing with this team. It looks like they're like I said, like the numbers say they're the greatest offensive rebounding team, at least in the last 15 years. I think they're amazing offensively rebounding, but the problem is sometimes they lack defensively. I think Enes Kanter is like the guy you can really throw up there. Just how good he is offensively on the glass, and at times he can get burned.
You could see that with Russell Westbrook at times too, because he'll just go, he'll attack an offensive rebound.
Yeah, and it does hurt their transition defense too. I don't know. Looking at it.
What other positives do you have for this team? I mean, what is it, 18 games left now?
Yeah, something like that.
What other positives that gives you hope going into the playoffs?
Some of your bench guys are actually playing halfway decent. Some of your
I know who you're about to say.
Who's that? Singler?
Yeah.
He's playing halfway decent.
He had a really good road trip.
Yeah, we didn't do much last night, did he? What did he do last night?
He had a couple like and ones, I think.
Russell hit him for that dunk on the Foy, Westbrook, Singler.
The only thing I remember Singler doing last night, because the Thunder had like 2 or 3 of those nice inbounds plays, and then they threw it in the Singler, and he threw up a little floater that
he missed.
He
missed a couple. He missed a couple layups last night where the guy behind. I could hear the guy behind me. It's a layup, Singler.
He is playing much better.
He went 3 of 6, 6 points, 4 rebounds last night.
He's
3 fouls. Got his 3 fouls in.
Got to get those fouls.
He's been playing a lot better. As much as we rag on the Thunder's transition defense, he's one of the few guys who consistently
gets back
in transition defense.
He's like, you got to play him right now.
That's crazy to say. Isn't it?
I'm looking at it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's played 6 straight solid games. Like. And if you're playing solid games off the Thunder bench, that's you know what I mean. Like
you gotta play.
They're searching for like just not terrible games off the bench. What do you think of Randy Foy?
I've been underwhelmed.
Very.
I've been whelmed.
But
whelmed.
Just whelmed.
You're on the positive side of whelmed.
Well, I mean, I think I know what you're saying, and it's like it's not like we're expecting him to be good. So. I'm just surprised at how much he's playing.
Look, if Donovan decided to flip it and go with Payne tomorrow, I wouldn't have any problems with it.
I wouldn't either. Darnell doesn't think. He says he's the only person in the state that's fine with Cameron Payne not playing.
This is the next segment. This is our segment here. Payne.
What segment?
Payne versus the world.
Payne versus the world. Payne versus everybody.
Payne versus everybody. Mama Payne.
All right. So here's what we were saying. Last night, I was emailing you guys during the game, and I don't even know how we got on Cameron Payne. Oh yeah, because you were trying to
get in the game.
You were trying to make fun of me about Chris Paul not getting that foul call. Westbrook bumped him. It should have been a flagrant.
Yeah. No,
Doc Rivers.
Westbrook bumped Paul, and then he didn't get. That's when Doc Rivers just went nuts. I thought you weren't down there, but. We thought he was going to get ejected. I
thought he got 2 techs back to back. The way he was,
it was calculated.
I thought he
did it on purpose.
Anyway, I emailed Darnell and said, "Who was more mad about that?
That no call.
That no call. You or Doc Rivers?"
And I emailed you back saying, "Who's going to be more mad when Payne doesn't get in the game? You or Payne?" And Payne did get in the game a little bit later. But,
and he's
so that's how we got on Cameron Payne. And so what I basically told these guys was, I'm probably the only guy in the state who doesn't really think it's a big deal that Cameron Payne's not playing. I do think there should be some minutes for him, especially when Dion Waiters is getting 30 minutes a game or whatever it is. And Randy Foy is out there kind of, just out there a lot of the times. But I don't think that it's like a huge issue, especially, and there were a couple reasons I gave you guys. The first is Durant's running the second unit. I mean, we talked all season about staggering the minutes. Well, Donovan has now started to stagger the minutes. And so when you do that, Kevin Durant's going to run the second unit. Even if Payne's playing, Durant's going to have the ball in his hands. So what else did I tell you guys?
Well, my point to that is I think...
Oh, that's what it was. Sorry. I trust Durant and Foy and Morrow, who I said last night, more than I do Payne. Come the postseason, I will trust those guys more than I will Cameron Payne. We saw Cameron Payne just kind of look like a rookie a couple weeks ago.
Well,
and I really wouldn't trust him in big moments.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. Look, they put him in last night for a few minutes because, I think he is trying to, keep him mentally active. And Jamal Crawford went right by him twice. Right. And then at one point, he actually got kind of a lucky steal that tipped to him. And then Chris Paul kind of got over towards him. And he dribbled it out of bounds. And the fans were like going nuts for a foul, but then the replay was like, that was not a foul.
Yeah.
And then he got pulled. I guess my thing is, it's this team's in a weird spot because this season, obviously, everyone knows how much it matters. And right now, with, the environments they're in, the kind of the slump Payne's in a little bit. Now that he's out of the rotation, he has no rhythm. Randy Foy, though he's not providing a ton. Hit an open three. He's sturdy on defense. Seems like he's always in the right spot defensively.
He's better than Payne.
Yes. I mean, Payne's like he can get exposed. Out
Yeah.
there. Payne's like kind of like Canner in some ways, like out there right now. I mean, he's 21. I think he could, know,
he's
when
gonna
he's
get
24,
better.
25, he might be a good defender. He's long.
And gets stronger and,
Yeah.
builds
And
his
just-
body.
But anyway, like right now, with as you're mentioning, with this new rotation where Durant is handling the ball, it kind of like I don't really have an argument to you that in just a vacuum of how can they maximize their best effort in tomorrow's game.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is this is a team that needs good bench players in the future. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
need to build up players that actually have talent. Like Randy Foy's 32. He's a free agent. He probably won't even be back here next year. Cameron Payne's 21. He's one of the few promising young guys on this team. You've seen it with Jeremy Lamb, with, in a different way, Perry Jones, Mitch McGarry right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand this season is about now, and like you need to maximize now because next year you might not have Kevin Durant, and then everything melts after that.
The argument is Deion Waiters. That's where your argument. Deion Waiters is playing too many minutes, but his defense. There's a counter argument for that because Deion Waiters is going to give you much better defensive effort than Cameron Payne. But if Deion Waiters is playing that many minutes, that's where you can make the argument that Cameron Payne certainly should be getting some of those minutes.
It's just, don't you have? I mean, he's like, don't you have to try to build him up as quickly as possible? But I mean, I don't know.
Cut into some of Waiters' minutes with Cameron Payne, and anything that Morrow's getting, I'd give to Payne, because Morrow and Payne at this point are a wash to me. I know Morrow's 3-pointers are big, but Cameron Payne can hit a 3 too, and he's got more playmaking ability, and he's more opportunistic on defense. Now they're both not playing any defense, so if Morrow's going to be out there, I might as well have Payne out there.
This is why I wanted them to draft Devin Booker. Like the guy is
Didn't he go
One
one
spot-
spot ahead
one
of,
spot
of,
ahead
of,
of
the
so
Thunder.
they didn't even have a chance.
Right, but I'm saying that's who I thought would have been perfect for this team. The guy is forever going to be a backup to Russell Westbrook as long as he's here. And so,
Which means he might not be a backup at 23.
stop it. So I don't know. He's in a tough spot. He's in a very, very tough spot, especially when you got Russell Westbrook playing however many minutes he's playing, and then they're staggering the minutes, and Durant's running the second unit. So, I mean, that basically it neutralizes Payne, the usefulness of Payne.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of this? I mean, everyone called for the staggering, and I really do think.
Didn't you call for it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I'm one of like hundreds of
Yeah.
people that did. And I think it will work out well, and I think in a lot of ways it has, even though obviously they've lost some games in this stretch since they've done it. I think it just maximizes them. There's there's no longer stretches where you're sitting there courtside and you're like, wow, look at this lineup. Like, can they just like keep it even right now?
Yeah.
Which is good, but it's weird. They didn't do anything to Russell Westbrook's minutes. Like Russell Westbrook is playing the exact same pattern he was, which is first 9 of the first quarter, sits for 3 to end the first, 3 to start the second, then comes back in for the last 9 of the half. Like that's just his thing. He does it both halves. It gives him 36 minutes. But they completely switched up Durant's thing, where now it's 6 minutes on, 3 off, 6 on, 3 off. 6, and it's like I think it's kind of bothering him. I mean, I think he likes the added playmaking things, but we saw last night, third quarter, he has a couple turnovers. Remember, he gets a charge, and he was kind of in a weird situation. He was all mad. He clapped his hands, and then Singler comes in for him right after he gets the charge, and he just clapped his hands and looked at Donovan and yelled. He yelled at Donovan, "I can't get any rhythm out here." I think it's like, I don't know. I think he's still wary on it, and you know what I think? I don't know. I mean, is he a little bit questioning like, why am I the one that has to change up everything? Like, and Westbrook just keeps his pattern?
Because good luck going to Westbrook and telling him we're going to change your pattern.
I mean, I understand that, but if you're Durant, like, I'm Kevin Durant. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know enough about it.
I think he's trying, and he's diplomatic about everything.
And that's why you'd probably rather go to him than you would Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
and that's not to say Russell Westbrook couldn't be diplomatic about something like that, but
well, the weird thing is like Durant has agreed to it, and he's come out and said, I'm gonna try it. I think it's good. I like the extra playmaking. It's like it's allowing me to showcase all my versatility. So I think he likes that part about it. But I swear, every time he comes out, it seems to me really in the third quarters when he has to come out in these bigger games. It feels like he just started the third quarter and then he's coming out. Like, he gets mad about it every time. It's like, dude, it's coming.
Well, nobody likes coming out of the game. I mean, he wants to play all 48 minutes.
I know, but it's like I know what you're saying, but he knows it's coming. Like, why does he keep? I don't know. I think
you're making it sound like it's a problem. Like it could be something brewing there.
Well, I just I think it'll be all right once the playoffs hit, because I think they'll do it in the first half, and then the second half, he's going to play
going the distance in the second half.
Yeah, I mean in
playoffs.
Exactly. So I don't think it'll be as big a problem there, but I don't know. It's something to watch, I'd say. What do you guys think about some of the free agency stuff lately?
What free agency stuff?
Durant. Every day, every
Durant's
rumor you got a news
stuff.
gather from your desk.
Yeah. It's all bogus to me.
I think, on his end, he's handled it well again. But I don't know what your boy
Joel Myers. Love Joel Myers.
Everyone loves Joel
So
Myers.
do
You
you.
got to know Joel Myers.
Everybody apparently loves Joel Myers. But
listen to a Pelicans broadcast. The guy, him and Ralph Lawler.
He has a voice just built for that.
Yeah, his voice is perfect for broadcast.
what he said kind of reminded me of like back a few years ago when like Les Miles was at LSU and like Kirk Herbstreit came out with like Les Miles is going to Michigan, and then like that was the last time Kirk Herbstreit ever broke news.
Yeah,
because he was like completely wrong.
Yeah.
But
I will say this about Joel Myers. I was telling one of you guys, I don't think the guy's talking out of the side of his neck. I think I was telling you this later.
Because he's not known for that. It's not like he's like, I gotta break news.
I think it's bull.
Yeah.
But I think someone told him that.
I don't know if it was me and you talking about it, but I kind of agree that it was like it's probably just like opposing players or something. People like, yeah, man, he's been talking to me during games saying like, man, we got to make the finals or something and then that just suddenly turned into a report that kind of got plucked off a radio show that I'm not sure he was like, he should know what he's saying and it's gonna get pulled out there, but I'm not sure he was trying for it to.
And then Bondi up in New York for the Daily News said that the Knicks, he had a report saying the Knicks are no longer in consideration for Durant.
as if they were to begin with.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with that one.
Yeah, I don't know if they were or weren't. I'm just passing along information.
They did have Derek Fisher.
Look, if I'm Kevin
Brian
Durant,
Keefe,
if I'm Kevin Durant and the long-term goal really is New York or the Lakers, Knicks or Lakers, I'd sign a one-year deal with the Thunder because like that gives the Knicks or Lakers another chance to build people up and prove to me that they can be a title contender while I still have a chance to compete for a title in a year that if he went to the Knicks or Lakers, you're not competing for a title. That literally takes away your 28-year-old season to win a title.
It gives you another year with Westbrook, and then it gives everybody else another year to get themselves built up, like you said. Like, you don't take yourself out of playing a year with Russell Westbrook for playing with, I don't know, D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah.
This would be a team with a lot of baggage. Notice I preface what I'm saying with that. But the Knicks are talking about Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, Carmelo, and then if they throw in somehow Kevin Durant with that, you got Dwight, Melo, Durant, Rondo, and Porzingis.
How are you fitting that financially?
I don't know.
You'd have to get rid of. Carmelo would have to say,
Cap's
I'm going somewhere else.
That's gross.
Cap's going way
Rondo
up.
and Howard, like no, and Melo.
Notice the first thing I said.
Like,
there's a lot of baggage.
You know who's the best player on that team? Assuming Durant's not on it, Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah,
I forgot about him.
I still say Melo, but Porzingis is good.
2 years from now, who are you saying? I think it's not even.
Porzingis,
You're not even like taking a
Porzingis
second
has a
to think about
chance, but I mean,
I know
you
what
act
you're
like
saying.
Melo is garbage.
No, I don't mean to, because honestly, I think he's better than Dwight Howard and Rajon Rondo. But
I don't think Porzingis is better than Dwight Howard. Whatever. Thunder fans don't care about
I
this.
think we overrate Dwight Howard the way we overrate Steven Adams.
Ooh.
I don't think we.
I think you overrate Dwight. No, one of you guys overrate Dwight Howard.
I
think it's
overrate.
you. I think it's Slater.
I think you
What?
overrate Dwight Howard.
You overrate.
I was
Dwight
pointing
Howard.
at. We're both pointing at Darnell Mayberry.
Yeah, no
right
one
now.
knows who we're pointing at. I don't overrate him. I think he's a heck of a player.
You rate him.
I think he's a heck of a player. He's one of the top 5 centers in basketball. Maybe
Yeah.
top 3.
Yeah. I don't know. The one thing I've kind of like, let's say Kevin Durant. This is even more like, let's just say the Thunder go out, win the title.
Yeah.
You'd think, oh, Durant's gonna stay, right?
I think he's going to stay if they don't win the
Yeah,
title.
no,
I think he's going to stay if they get knocked out in the first round.
No, I agree with that. My point is, like, let's say they won the title, you'd think Durant is locked in long term. He wants to stay here. There's like, to me, is there just 0% motivation for him to sign long term here? Because if you're him, like, why would
No.
you sign long term here when you risk 4 of those 5 years are going to be without Russell, Westbrook, and Serge? Like, wouldn't he have to sign a 1-year deal here regardless if he wants to stay?
Well, I think you can throw one of those names out. Serge. I think, is Russell Westbrook is who you mean to say.
Okay, fine. 4 of those 5 years.
Yeah,
without
I mean,
Russell
you bring
Westbrook.
up a good point, but I think more than that, it's the financial component. Like, you're not gonna risk it's not a risk. You're not gonna not sign a 1-year deal and get the bump on that percentage of the CBA that you can get by having 10 years of service. That's the whole point in signing that 1-year deal and then waiting for the cap to go up again. So those two things, that's a huge financial component that I'm sure he's aware of.
Can he sign a 1-year deal elsewhere, like a 2-year with the opt-out elsewhere?
Yeah.
He's a free agent.
Would that make sense?
The Thunder can give him more money.
Yeah.
So
it would be about like maximizing.
he'd really just
his
have
money.
to want to go somewhere else
Yeah.
to do that. 'Cause
It'd be
he'd be
strange.
giving
It'd
up
be
money.
strange for the other team because they'd be like pumped they got him, but it's like, oh, are they completely? Like if you're the Warriors, are you like giving away Barnes and like all
For
this
1
stuff
year.
for like maybe
Or
only
1
1
year
year
rental.
Durant and then
You
he
do.
leaves again?
You do for a Hall of Fame player in his prime.
There are people
I
out there
think-
talking about the Warriors shouldn't go get Kevin Durant.
I'll say this: if Kevin Durant says 5 years or 4 years, whatever, he's going to sign with the Warriors. You do it. But if he says 1 year, I'm not sure you break up what you have in Golden State. I think anywhere else should do it for 1 year. But let's say the Warriors are 2 straight titles; they can bring back their entire team. Instead, they're saying, "Well, Durant for maybe only 1 year."
You still do it.
I would do it.
You still do it.
Because I don't think Durant's the type to, especially if the Warriors, like that's a championship caliber team. That's a championship team. Why would he go there for a year and then try to leave to go somewhere
know.
else?
What if, like,
I don't think he would do that.
I know what you're saying, but what if it doesn't go well? Like, there's an injury or they don't win it all, and he's getting blamed because it's like, hey, we just won 2 titles, and now you come here and we're not winning the title.
Okay,
But-
who would they have to give up? Barnes,
But look,
Iguodala,
Yeah, like your odds.
and Ezeli
Yeah, your odds.
for
at-
Kevin Durant.
I mean,
come on, man.
Look,
Azili can ball.
you'd
There's
rather.
no Mason Plumlee.
Well, who is?
I mean, I think any team in the league would rather have Kevin Durant on their team than hinge their chances on keeping the core together at a three-peat. Like a three-peat is really stinking hard. If you have Kevin Durant, winning games is, I mean, it's going to be hard either way, whether you have Kevin
I'm
Durant
just
or
saying
not.
the 1 year deal. Look, if it's 4 years, you do it without even thinking. I'm just saying the 1 year deal would worry me if you're the Warriors. That's it.
Why would he leave?
Just
I can't name you a single reason why Kevin Durant would leave.
Warriors
I mean, it's just like maybe a staleness here, a knowledge that Westbrook's probably gone. If it goes bad in the playoffs, he just wants a new beginning. His team steers him somewhere, just like, hey, let's start over, whatever. What wouldn't make sense to me is like the 1 year deal. Just that's what makes so much sense. And like, it's just crazy how like all factors to me point to that.
I can see him leaving after next year.
Yeah, for sure.
But not this year.
He's going to take meetings.
The stale factor is key. I mean, I don't care what you do in life. It takes a special person to not get sick of what you're doing year after year after year. I mean, I got sick of covering the Thunder.
Yeah.
I'm happy now not covering the Thunder. Like, so Kevin Durant might get tired of playing in Oklahoma City. He might get tired of playing for the Thunder. He might, who knows? But I don't see that happening after this year.
Like, I keep thinking about what LeBron said about his Miami experience. He likened it to going to college and that being his college experience. And I always remind myself that, like, these dudes are like 27, 26 with like more money than we could ever imagine. Like, maybe they just want to go live on the beach. Like, maybe it's not all about basketball sometimes. Maybe they just want to go
Joe Johnson.
Right. Like, and we get mad at them if basketball isn't their sole focus, if winning isn't their sole focus, if Kevin Durant goes to the Lakers, who just finished in the top 5 in the lottery or whatever, we get mad at Kevin Durant, but we fail to really think about the whole, these dudes might just want to see some new stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And the other thing with Kevin Durant, and why, to me, everyone says Russell Westbrook's the more likely to leave, and I think obviously if Durant leaves, Westbrook probably would because he wants to win. But I actually think it's opposite as far as like Westbrook's married, he's settled, he's mature, he kind of just knows who he is. He knows he can go to LA, during the off season, Paris to do the fashion stuff. Like, he is like very much knows exactly who he is. Whereas like Kevin Durant's introspective at times. I feel like he changes opinions and moods a lot. He doesn't even have a serious girlfriend. Like, I feel like he's still kind of maybe trying to find himself. He's changed his agent a few times. Like, he just might want something new. Like, that would probably be the argument for why he'd leave.
I'm with you. I think Russell Westbrook is way more likely to stay.
But the only thing is, like, I don't think.
I think he'd stay even if Durant left.
If he felt like they were, I feel like he's pretty obsessed with winning, though.
Yeah, but I mean, he can carry a team clearly.
Yeah,
and they can go out and get some people with the cap going up. Durant, if he bolts, they still got Serge Ibaka, they still got Kanter, they still got Adams, they still got some.
That Westbrook Kanter pick and roll is going to score a lot of points. I don't know how many they're going to give up. But.
Would it be a unique situation though? Like, for instance, when people left L.A., you would think, oh, people would want to come to L.A. Yeah, but there was that Kobe factor. They knew that Kobe was going to be this ball-dominant guy, and a lot of guys didn't want to come play with that. Would that be a factor with Westbrook? Would people want to come play with Russell Westbrook?
He's not Kobe. I mean, the guy put up 20 assists last night. He's second in the league in assists. I know
they wouldn't have a second option.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But he squirts out assists all the time. I mean, just think about remember, Kevin Durant wasn't healthy when they made the trade last year. Enes Kanter came in and like immediately just kept dimes from Westbrook, dropping dimes. And like, remember how happy Enes Kanter was? You were there.
Yeah, because he was in Utah before.
Yeah. Well, I did that, but like he's just like, this is amazing. He was like so wide-eyed. But I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. Last thing, Joey Crawford, I guess reportedly he's done
already. He's not even finishing the season.
He's not coming back.
I believe it was Steve Ashburn from NBA.com just posted a story that said Joey Crawford's refereed his last game. What's your favorite Joey Crawford moment?
My favorite Joey Crawford moment. Probably when he tossed Tim Duncan for laughing.
That was great. That's the one I was thinking of.
On the bench. Like, Tim Duncan wasn't even in the game.
Yeah, Duncan made the Duncan face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And then he had that one with the scoreboard not the scoreboard, but one of the stat crew guys here in Oklahoma City where he just chewed him out in front of everybody loud. You listen to me! You listen to me!
Yeah.
He just went up to him and just started barking at him.
Now that Joey Crawford's out the game, you know who's coming for the number one spot.
Mark
Anthony
Davis.
Damn right.
Yeah, that was he was at the Kings game when stuff was popping off the other day.
He's coming for the number one spot.
Him and Rondo have gotten into it in the past.
He's nuts. He's like an instigator.
He was amazing. That first Sacramento game here, where it was just weird. That whole game was just weird.
Yeah, he like goes up and like gets in people's like, "You talking to me? Come to my face!" And he's like, "Jeez, bro." It's supposed to be like diffusing situations.
And he belittled the scorers table too.
He did. He was going off on him.
It was very inappropriate.
My favorite Joey Crawford one is the block call where it's like, the hometown fans are calling for the charge, and he blocks, but he like dances all the way out to half court doing it. And he's like, He's a gift
Joey
maker.
Crawford will be missed.
Yeah. I whenever I'd see him, on the little lineup sheet that gets plopped down when you see Joey Crawford.
The NBA is the only sport, correct me if I'm wrong, like football has Ed Hochuli, but I mean he's not like the center of attention at times like Joey Crawford can be. Baseball doesn't really have a guy like that.
Baseball's got some, I'd say, they CB Buckner, names, and like a lot of them have like unique strike threes.
Yeah, like behind home plate.
Yeah. And then I would say football, the one thing that makes them, like you mentioned at Hochuli, is like they have to go in front of the crowd and like announce, personal foul. So like, but NBA has like, it's just because those like packed in environments kind of breed. And then there's guys like Crawford that kind of want to be the center of the show, and he's like dancing out there. I enjoy, a lot of people hate it, but I kind of enjoy the, I don't know, the theater of the whole thing.
But you know what? And a lot of people,
the refs.
I'm sure Thunder fans will think I'm crazy, but Joey Crawford was a really, really good official.
He's good.
He's a really good official. I mean, he knew the game. He understood how to control a game. He made excellent calls. He got carried away a lot, and I think that's what people focus on. But he was a really
that's the thing.
Excellent official.
Like, why are you dancing? But at the same time, like, good block call. I just don't know why you're dancing.
I guess those guys, you
gotta have fun too.
Yeah, like you were saying, you do something for long enough, you got to find a way to liven it up. It's like the umps that call that strike three, and they're real demonstrative about it, the big punch outs and the.
I used to ump baseball a little bit.
I'd love to see that.
I could see that.
You do. I know the listeners can't see me. You throw it. You like throw the arrow up in the air and then shoot it down. Bah, bah. That's how
Did you do that?
Yeah.
What age was this? Little League?
What? No, I mean I wasn't. I was playing Little League. No, I was like umping it.
Yeah, umping. What ages were you umping?
Like how old was I, or how old were the kids?
How old were the kids?
Oh, the kids were probably like, I don't know, 12. 30.
I bet their parents were all
you were ringing up
you.
12-year-olds?
Ringing them up. Swing the bat, youngin. Let's get this game moving along. I had a wide strike zone. All right. Well, we will talk to you again next week. What do we got this weekend? Ooh.
San Antonio.
Yeah, the first of 3 Spurs games in the last month.
That's crazy that they haven't played the Spurs since
Opening
November
night.
1st.
Opening night.
Whatever
Before
that was.
November,
October
28th.
31st. Whatever. Yeah.
They haven't played in San Antonio since last year.
Hey, the Spurs are making some moves now.
Yeah, we got Andre Miller.
Yeah, of
Kevin
course you
Martin.
like
Andre Miller because
Simmons.
he's the most controlled player in the game because
Exactly.
he can move like 1 mile an hour. He's like a snail.
I bet you Thunder fans will take Andre Miller and Kevin Martin on the bench right now.
I want to see a lineup of Tim Duncan in his current state, Andre Miller, slow-mo Kyle Anderson, Boris Diaw, and who'd be like the 5th slow? Like David West. Like, is that the slowest moving unit of players in the history of the NBA?
Hey, you can make.
I'm not
fun
saying
of
they
them.
wouldn't like.
You can make
they
fun of
rock-
all you want.
they rock
They
the
know how to
Thunder to
play.
sleep.
They know how to play.
Hey, I was gonna say they probably have a positive net rating, but I'm just saying that man.
Those guys know how to play basketball, man. That's a team that they got down there. That's gonna be a fun game.
No doubt. Yeah, it will be. All right, we'll talk to you again next week.
Durant, pull-up jumper, off the rim, and and the Thunder win! Come on, let's sing the Thunder song. When you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your Thunder buddy and say these magic words.